Hey guys, this is Hetu and welcome back to etlqalabs. So in this video, we will look at Informatica, develop a simple Informatica job. All right, and so we are actually covering, this is the second session, guys, in the Informatica tutorial. And yesterday we have looked at little bit theory around it, wherein we tried to understand the component of Informatica, Power Center client and Informatica Power Center server, right? And we have looked at what component does what basically in brief, right? So hope you are following that. And in this video, we will try to develop a very simple job, and then we will see that what are the things that we need before we developing a job, and what is the step-by-step procedure that we have to follow, right, in terms of developing a job, right? So guys, hope you are following my videos, and I sincerely hope that you already have installed the Power Server client and server. And if you are not, then please go and look at those two videos that I have created in the Informatica playlist, and you can install and then you can configure it, and it is ready for use, right? So that you can also do the practice alongside me, right? So when I do the practice here, I show you, you can also do that, and that is the very best way to, learn the things, all right? So what we will do is, as part of this, we will try to import the source as a file and target as a file. So what we will do is we will use the source also as a file and target as also as a file, right? And then we will import the source and target files first, and then we will design a mapping, okay, on those source and target, which is both of them are file, and then we will design a workflow, run it, and verify the data. So this is the whole agenda of this particular video. All right, guys, now what we will do is, okay, let me remove it. I will tell you step by step, right, what we need to do. Okay, so guys, so what we have to do is, first of all, let's try to write the step to design this particular job, right? So what are the things that we need to consider, right? So what are the components that we are going to touch here in this case is, first is the designer, right? That's where we are going to design the logic, all right? Second one is going to be the workflow manager, and workflow manager is where we are going to create a job, right? Create a workflow or ETL job, right? Then workflow monitor. So after creating the job, we have to run it, right? So we can monitor monitor the progress of the ETL job, right? All right. Which means what is the status of job, whether succeeded or failed or whatever status you can do, right? So these are, and after that what we will do is, fourth step, verify data load. Okay. They are the four steps that we are going to do. All right. Now this is the first step. Okay. This is the second step, third step, this is the fourth, the last one, right? Now, within designer, we have to do certain activities, right? Because we have to design that logic, right? How do we design it? We have to do certain activities, right? In our case, we are actually using the source and target both as a file, right? So what we have to do, first step is, okay, I will say A, in fact, okay, import source as file, right? Second is import, all right, import target as file. Okay. Third one is design a mapping. Okay. These are the three things that we are going to do, right? So these two steps, these two steps are very easy. And third step is basically, again, we have to understand a little bit around it. So what is mapping, guys? Mapping is basically consist of source, transformation. Okay, this is again optional. Okay, I will do one thing. I will just put it here, A maybe. All right, A, then B, now optional, and this is C. This is target, right? We have to basically, the mapping basically consists of source, transformation, and target. So it can, most of the time, I mean, the very best, very simple one may not have the transformation, extra transformation, but still, guys, if you like or not like the source qualifier transformation, which will come by default anyways, right? So essentially, a mapping consists of source, transformation, or set of transformations, basically, right? Multiple transformations also, whatever we need to transform the data as per our need, right? And then finally loading into target. So there are the three things that we need. All right. And these two things, source and target, we will be getting it from here only, right? As part of first and second. Okay. Now what we will do is, let's start then, guys. So these are the four things that we have to do. And the finally, I mean, this is the fourth one where we have to validate whether the data load is happening properly or not, right? So let's do one thing. Let's start then. All right. And so what we have to do, this is the designer. So first of all, we have to do all these steps in designer. All right. So let's go to designer. How do we go to designer? We have to go here. We have to just search it designer, guys. Okay. This is Power Center designer. If I click here, it will open up this, right? And then this is asking me to log in, right? Any of the repository. I would like to log into this repository and I want to just log in with admin is the password. We already seen this, guys, right? So let's log in first. And this is the folder that I can see it here. Okay. Now what I will do is I will remove everything, whatever is there here. All right. Now I will also go to source. Maybe I also have the source here. Just want to remove it. I want to make sure there is no objects in Informatica, right? And if mapping, do we have anything in mapping also? Let me see. I don't think so. We have anything. Okay. Now, this is the designer, guys, right? And I have explained you yesterday, there are I mean, basically the tools within this designer tool also, right? So what are those tools? Basically these five tools, right? And I explained you about these three, and I told that this transformation developer and mapping designer, we will look at later point of time, not needed right now. Okay. But we need to understand source analyzer, target designer, and mapping designer. We will be using all these three tools now, okay, as part of designer tool here, right? Here basically, right? Import source, import target, and mapping. Okay. So to import the source, we have to use source analyzer. Target, to import the target, we have to use the target designer, and to design a mapping, we have to use mapping designer. Okay. Now before that, I want to see that we do not have anything existing here, right? We have some mapping here, guys. Okay. I think let me remove also. Okay, let me remove this. I don't want this. Okay. I just want to make sure, we do not have any objects in this particular repository, right? Now, guys, there is nothing. You see here, there is no source, no target, and nothing. Okay. What we will do is, so here you see there is no plus, right? If there is any object, then you will see here plus. Expand it, you will see that source and target. Nothing is there, guys, now. Okay. Now what I will do is I will just import the source as part of my first step here. So import the source as a file. Okay. Let's go here. We'll go to tool, and to import the source, we have to use the source analyzer, this particular option. Once I click here, I see here sources, right? Here, this place, right? Now if I click on this one, I will get the multiple option to import. So now we are going to import from the file, right? This is what our use case, right? Now, this is the location where I already have file basically. You can also create one file and keep it. So I have created one CSV file. This is Microsoft comma separated value file, right? So this is CSV file. This I already have created already. Okay. So let me import it. So once I select it, it's telling you what all this information, guys. But here I have to say import field name also. I want this employee number, employee name. These are all comma separated, guys, right? And these are the value from the second line onward. First one is the header, right? So I need the header also, right? Okay. Now if I say next, 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 you see that name has come here. This is imported. This source is imported now, guys. Okay. Now you see that here that name, employee name, I mean the file is having these many, one, two, three, four fields, and data type of each fields are number, string, and this is the size of the length of each of these columns, right? In the file, all right? Now I will save it. Once you save it, you see here that source flat file emp inserted. What does it mean? It means that it is already saved into Informatica now, right, designer? If we would like to check it where it is saved, then I will go to source view again. I will say navigator and see here I see little plus sign, guys, right? Before it was not there. When I expand it here, I can go to flat file here, again expand it. I see this EMP, right? This is the EMP, the table that we have just imported, right? When I do target, then also I will see a plus now. Now we don't have anything. Let me import the target and we'll see that we will get the plus sign here also, right? Now this is the EMP, this is the file name, right? We already imported the source now. See, I cannot save again because it said that there are no changes detected. So it's giving me error. All right, now I have to import the target as part of my second step. Import target as flat file, okay? Let me go to tool, and to import the target we have to use this target designer option, okay? And when I click on this, I get here targets, right? And when I click on here, I am getting again lot of options, right? From where, I mean, what is the target that I want to choose to load the data, right? I will say import from file. I want to import this particular target schema right here. Now I will say all files and I get this same location, guys, okay? Here I have put, you can choose any location, guys, but for simplicity I have created these two files here only, okay? So you can choose any location wherever you want. Now I am actually selecting this. This is my target, okay? And I will show you. So this target is having only one row. You see that this is the header and this is the first one row, right? I have kept this particular row very intentionally because when I'm importing it, it should give me some sort of schema, because when it reads, Informatica reads, it will understand this is the number, this is the text, this is again number, and this is again text string, right? So that is the reason I have actually, kept one row here. Otherwise, it will take everything as a text and it will also not consider the proper size also, right? That is the reason, okay? I am just considering it, okay? All right. After that, I will remove this, don't worry, okay? Now, let me import field name from the first line. So this is the field name anyway, right? So I need to check this also. Now let's go. And when I see, again guys, I can see it here, right? You can see it. Employee number, employee name, and date of joining. All right, everything has come here, and this is the length. Okay. Now, guys, one thing you should see that. Okay, employee number was four character. That's why I got it. Employee name was also Adam, right? That's why it has taken four length. Okay. But this might be the problem, okay? If the employee name is coming more than four data size, more than four, let's say it's coming Peter, right? Peter is five character, right? So R will be, so PETE will only be populated in target, R will be truncated, right? So that is the problem here. That is the reason we need to be very careful, right? When we choose it. So now let me see if I can increase this. I can increase it to 10, guys, all right? And here also let me keep everything 10, all right? And then name also I want to, let me keep it 20. I think that should be okay. And here what about department? Maybe 5, all right? Date of joining, it's okay. I don't want so many things to change, all right? This few things I changed it now. Now it says the target EMP TGT inserted, which means if I go to my designer again, and I should be able to see that in target also. See here, right? Plus sign, and I can see it here. EMP target has been imported here, which means it is saved in the repository now. So this is the repository, and we have saved it in this particular repository now, right? Very good. Now what we will do is we have done this particular part. This is the second step, right? Imported file as a source, imported file as a target. These two are done. Now design a mapping, right? And guys, in this mapping, what I'm going to do is, when I have to design a mapping, I have to go to mapping designer, right? These two options we have used already. Now we will use the mapping designer. Okay, let's click here, and then I can see it here, right? Mapping. Now here I see the mapping, guys, right? So go to mapping, and I have to say create. All right. So mapping designer, right? Let's give some name to mapping designer. So I'll give you, flat file to flat file. All right. Simple. Guys, I will just give this kind of name. Maybe you can choose something else. Okay. All right. Something like this. Because we are actually taking the flat file as a source and flat file as a target also, right? So let's say, okay. So this is the name of my mapping now. Okay. Now what I will do is, for mapping, what are the things I need? I need source, target, and what else? The transformation, right? In this case, we are not going to use any extra transformation, guys. Okay. Just to keep it very simple, okay? But anyways, source qualifier will come by default, okay? We can't do anything about it, but we will not take the transformation in this case. We want to just design a very direct source to target. That's it, okay? Now we are here now, guys, okay? Now I have to go to again view, and I have to pull the source and target into this workspace. So this is called workspace, guys. This is the mapping workspace, and I have to pull the source and target here, okay? So let's go to source first and hold it, drag it, and drop it here. It's already came here, right? All right. Okay. Let's see, guys. So you see that, as I said, that source qualifier will come by default, because this source qualifier will read the data from the source, right? So this will come by default, irrespective of if you want or not, right? So in Informatica, this is the the source qualifier will come by default. That's why I'm saying the mapping consists of essentially source and transformation and target. So in this case, source is this. This is transformation, one transformation, and then target I have to take, right? So let's go again and pull the target from here. So where is target, guys? This is the target, okay? I have to again hold it and drag and drop it here. Now close it. Now I can see it here, right? And now let's see the data size and everything, guys. It's okay, fine, I think. Okay. We have to make sure, the length of the data type and the data size is higher than your previous state, means source, right? So here I see that employee number is here 10, which means here 4, which means good. This also is 25, 11. This is always good, right? Because these are the higher data length, right? Which means there will not be any data truncation in the target, right? Now what we will do is, okay. Now what I have to do is, I just have to map this, okay? Select all of them. Now just hold it and drag and drop it here. All right. This is how it is now. Okay. Now what we have done is, guys, okay, we have designed the mapping. So this mapping is consist of source, target, and by default this transformation, right? This is the transformation, source qualifier transformation. Now this mapping is completed, okay? And from where I got this source and transformation, source and target, because we have actually imported source and target in the previous state, and that's why we are able to pull it from here, right? Pull it from the source and target, okay? Once we save it here, and then only we can pull it, okay? So we are able to design this very simple mapping. When I say Control S, saved it, it says that mapping is valid and mapping is inserted. Okay, guys, now let's see whether the mapping is really inserted, because we do not have the mapping before, right? Let me, okay, not here. Go to view and say navigator, and see, guys, here, right? We have seen this mapping is inserted now, okay? And when I expand it, it will show you, this mapping will show you what all the things are there. So it will show you, this is the source, this is the transformation, which means this is the default transformation, that is source qualifier, and this is the target, okay? Which means the default transformation is only one, right? We have not used any other transformation, otherwise all the transformation will be coming here, okay? So this is how the mapping will look like. You can always check what is the definition of the mapping here, right? You can also check it here, right? But yeah, once it is inserted, it will be recorded here, okay? Now it has come already, saved it now, all right? Now what we will do is, guys, the mapping is done. Mapping, we are able to design this mapping. All right, all this part of the designer is done. Now what we will do is we will go to second step, which is source. This is the workflow manager, right? Second is the workflow manager, guys. So we are already here. And to go to workflow manager, I can directly go from here, right? So here you see the icons, right? So if I want to go to workflow manager, I will just click on this W, right? Let's see. It's opened up, right? Now let's see that it will open up the workflow. Okay, workflow manager is open. Now guys, this is invalid. I don't want this. Let me remove it, okay? Because I don't want to keep the invalid one here. Okay, now what I will do is I will create a workflow for this, right? So as part of this, I have to create a workflow here, right? Create workflow or ETL job. This is also called a ETL job, right? Because this is the runnable what you say instance, right? Now I have to do one thing. I have to go to workflows here. I have to say create. All right. When I say create, I have to give a name, right? So I will say workflow naming convention WF underscore. For mapping, I have used the naming convention as M underscore, right? And for workflow, I will say WF. Okay. Keep the little naming convention so that we can easily identify what does it mean, right? Workflow underscore. I will say that FF to FF. That's fine. I will give the same name what we want to do. Now it says that integration service is already there, right? Integration service it is selected. Okay. Now what we'll say? Okay. Now this workflow is created now. But this workflow doesn't have anything, right? It is just a skeleton now. So what I have to do is I have to actually create a session. Okay. So if you see that I have here something called session. Okay. I have to just go here. I have to click on this session, click and pull it here. And then after, once I pull it, I have to just release it. Say click. All right. Now it will open up the mapping, which mapping we have to connect it. So here guys, I have only single mapping. Otherwise it will give you a list of mappings here and you can choose one of them, right? Whichever you want. So I have only one. So I will say okay. Now this particular session is created. Okay. This particular session. So S underscore M underscore FF2. I mean, this is the name already taken, right? Now what I will do is I have to link this particular session from the start, right? So I have to go to task here. I have to say link task. All right. So this is linked now and this is ready for running. Okay. But before that, I have to do a bit of configuration because I have to give the name, right? The name where is this particular file, right? I will show you maybe here, right? So this is the location, right? This is the location. So I have to tell the Informatica that this is the location from where you have to actually pick the source and write into target, right? So I have to just double click on this session and I will go here. I'll go to mapping guys here, right? And I have to configure source and target here, right? Now this is source qualifier. Okay, expanded it. Now you see that source file directory, it is giving something, right? By default, I have to give it this particular location because this is where my files emp.csv is, right? All right, which means I want to read the file from here, okay? And you can also, okay, so this is the source. Now, if I go to target here, target also we are keeping on the same location, guys, right? And the name of the target is emp tgt.csv, right? CSV. So this is what is the name, right, guys? This one. Let me show you. Okay, emptgt, right? And this is the CSV file, right? You see CSV. So emp is the full name, file name with extension you have to give, guys. Okay, and this is the location. Okay, this is the place where it will write actually. Okay. Now we are done with configuring the source and target, and workflow is inserted and workflow is also a valid. Now let's see whether workflow has been inserted or not. So if you see here workflow, we are getting it right. And this workflow is consist of only one session, because one workflow can have the multiple session, okay? But in this case, it is very simple. I just want to read the data from file and load into file, right? And this is the so only one session is there, right? Now everything is ready, guys. We can run it. But before that, I want to do one thing. I want to show you the data, what is there inside this particular file, right? This CSV file. So if I show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are the 5 rows which are there in this particular, and these are the comma separated file, CSV file, right? But in this one I have only one row. I want to remove it, okay? Now when I say S, saved, right? Which means there is nothing, only header is there, right? Header, right? There is nothing, no data. Now when I write it, I means workflow is run, all the data, 5 rows from this EMP will be loaded into this target, right? So we will see that after that, okay? We can also see the timestamp. Now you see the 617 timestamp is there, right? Now when we run it, when the load is happened, this timestamp is also changed, and we can also see the data loaded. Now there is no data here in EMP TGT, only header is there. Now let's try to run this, okay? And we will see that. Now to run it, it is very simple, guys. You can go either from here, start workflow, or you can also click here, right click, and you can say start workflow. Now it has already started. Okay, guys. And the what we can do is we can, once you start, you can directly go to the workflow monitor. It will automatically take you workflow monitor. You see, it has already opened it actually automatically. So you see that this workflow has started now, right? This workflow is started and it is having one session and it is in progress, right? Let's see. Okay, but you don't need to open it by yourself. Once you run in the workflow monitor here, workflow manager here, it will automatically open the workflow monitor here, right? Now you see that data is completely loaded, means it is succeeded, right? And guys, if you look at this step, monitor the progress of the job. So we are actually monitoring in the workflow monitor. This is workflow monitor, guys, M, and we can see that we are monitoring that the data is already loaded. Now what are the things we can see in the session log, right? Workflow log is something that will have, um, have that might have the multiple session, but for each session how they are looking. So let's go to right click and just go to get session log, and we will see that how does it looks, right? If I go here, guys, I can see so many information, right? So it says that source load summary. Source, basically it is having 5 rows. No rejection, applied is 5. And then in target, EMP TGT, this is the target, and how many are affected? There are output 5 rows, right? 5 rows are applied basically, which means 5 rows are loaded. Okay, nothing is rejected here. You see that? So this is what you can always check it. And so this is done. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's go to this particular place now. So this is, you see that 618, 618, it was 617 before, right? Which means we have already got the data here, right? Let me see if we have got the data here. Let me open it. You see this, guys? We have, okay. So it has actually, it has also overwritten, basically it has overwritten the previous data, right? So previous data, we had a header, right, before, that also got overwritten. That's fine, no problem. We actually read all these 5 rows now, okay, which is actually coming from the source here, right? This is the source. Everything that is coming from source has reached to target, right? If I want to open this CSV, we can see in some different format, guys. In Excel format, something like that, right? We can see that. Let's see. I'm opening it. So you see, okay. So all 5 rows are loaded now. Okay. So um, this is what I wanted to cover as part of this session, right? Verifying the data load in the target, right? So this is what you can do. So Yeah, I mean, I hope that you are actually able to follow it, and I tried to go to the easiest way that I could explain. I hope that if you're not able to follow in first time, you go and watch 2 or 3 times. I'm sure that you will be able to understand this, and this is the very easiest way that I could do actually, right? And hopefully you are able to progress it. And guys, this is, as I said, that this is the very first session. And going forward, I will be, covering each and every aspect, whatever is possible from my end, so that you can, get yourself comfortable. So, a couple of sessions we will be trying to get ourselves familiarized with the components and what components uh, is responsible for what. But mostly we will be actually, as part of our development, we will be actually around source analyzer, target designer, and mapping designer. They are three components that we will be using most of the time. Today, it video became little lengthy because I wanted to tell you each and everything, like how to import the source, how to import target, and how to design mapping, what mapping consists of actually, right? All these steps basically I explained you, right? And I think hopefully from the next session onward, it will not be a big task because you already understand this. But guys, one request. I think if you really are, if you really want to learn, um, then you have to make sure that you have your Informatica setup done and you are following my videos, right? And then only it makes sense. Otherwise, I will be covering, all these sessions and then uh, I mean, obviously you can refer it later point of time, but it is always good that, since I am covering this entire series, and most of the things we will be talking, and I'm sure that if you are able to follow it, at the end of this tutorial, I think you will be very good in Informatica and you will be able to, while you learn all these things, you will be able to get a good job also as part of your developer also and tester both, right? So I will be, ensuring that, I will cover everything and then you understand, right? Everything around it. Okay, guys, so that's all for this video. And next video, what I'm thinking is I will try to do one thing. So this video, we have covered flat file, basically source also a file and target also file. Next video, I will try to cover uh, relational database. Source and target both will be relational database, okay? And there also we will be not taking any extra, what you say, so there we will try to understand how to import source as a relational database. We have to give the connection, etc. Those all the things are very important that we have to see. And this was the simplest one, I think. So hopefully you are able to understand this. And the next one will be a important one because we will be dealing with the databases, relational databases. We have to specify the connection strings, etc. Right? So uh, let me come up with that video and then until then I think guys happy learning and also please if it is making sense and you are able to gain some knowledge, please do consider to subscribe my channel. And also guys, I'm not getting the likes from you guys, okay? And so even after multiple requests, I'm not getting the likes from you. Are you really liking it or not? I don't know basically, right? So you should also make sure that you are liking my videos. If you're liking it, if you're not liking it, put unlike also. I have no problem. At least I will be able to understand that whether it is really making sense to you or not, right? Otherwise I will not know. And also put the comments actually. I really need your feedback, whether is there any improvement that I can do or everything is going good. Okay, I don't just don't want to hear all good comments. I am open to take up your suggestions also. I am open to understand any kind of critical feedback as well, okay? Because that is also good, because my ultimate aim is to teach you guys free of cost the Informatica that I think if you follow step by step procedure, you will be a very good developer or tester, okay? So that is the whole intention and motto of creating this series and whole intention of this channel itself, guys, right? I just want to share as much as I know so that it can help at least some of you can get the good job, and or if you're struggling with your job you can switch to this area. That will be, very satisfying for me if you can do that, right? So that's all, guys. And yeah, as I said that, please likes, comment, and share, right? Whoever need it. And until then, happy learning, and God bless you guys. Thank you. Bye.